On the news, fresh tragedy hits Niger State as 7 confirmed dead, 1 injured in devastating tanker explosion. IPOB leader Nnamdi Kanu's terrorism trial reassigned to another judge. And in commemoration of this year's International Women's Day, Minister expresses concern over declining number of women in Nigeria's National Assembly. Many thanks for joining us on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I'm Simisala Adigun. A tragic fuel tanker explosion in Mashegu local government area of Niger State has claimed the lives of 7 people, leaving 1 person injured. The incident, which occurred around 6 p.m. on Tuesday in Karamin Rami village, resulted in the deaths of 2 men and 5 women. Confirming the incident, the Director General of the Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Baba Ara, says emergency response efforts were underway to assess the full impact of the explosion. He attributed the tragedy to poor road conditions, which forced the tanker driver to maneuver dangerously, ultimately leading to the spill and explosion. In legal matters, the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, has finally reassigned the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, to another judge. Kanu's counsel, Aloy Ejimako, confirmed the development, revealing that the legal team received 2 significant official letters ahead of their routine visit to Kanu. This comes 6 months after Kanu had requested the recusal of Justice Binta Nyako from the 7-count terrorism charge case brought against him by the federal government. According to Ejimako, the delay since September 2024 had posed a serious threat to Kanu's constitutional right to a fair and speedy trial. As the world observes this year's International Women's Day, Nigeria's Minister of Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Iman Sulaiman, has condemned the sexual harassment allegations in the Senate. Speaking during a press briefing, the minister called for accelerated efforts to create more opportunities for women to participate actively in politics and leadership roles. TV360's Joy Uchejim completes the report.
The minister identified 4 major challenges facing Nigerian women, including legal and policy frameworks, economic empowerment, political representation and leadership, and gender-based violence and social norms. Speaking on this year's theme, she emphasized the need for a more collaborative and responsible approach to achieving gender equality in Nigeria.
In the last assembly, we had 9 senators that are women. This assembly, we have 4. We don't want to be losing any member in the Senate or in the House. We want to increase the numbers. It's unfortunate we're going to be brokering peace. We engage all the stakeholders to ensure that they temper justice with mercy. I was at the National Assembly yesterday at the Senate, where they marked the International Women's Day, and the last thing the Senate President said was that we're open to broker peace. So we're going to be the intermediary between the 2 parties to see that we broker peace, for peace to reign, and then we'll continue to also sensitize so that we learn to work better together as women and men.
Suleiman also stressed the importance of mentoring women to ensure they are equipped to serve effectively once in leadership positions.
We're thinking of other very creative initiatives around access to finance. We're romancing an idea of having our own microfinance structure for women so that women are able to access this finance. When you leave Abuja to any city in the outside of Abuja, you see women who are ready to work, to put food on the table, but there's systematic barriers. So when they have access to this finance and markets, they're able to do more. So we have plans for that.
The minister assured that her leadership, the Ministry of Women Affairs, is committed to bridging the gender gap through education, vocational training, and professional development, stressing that Nigeria must accelerate efforts to increase women's representation in governance and ensure they have a seat at the table. Joy Uchejim, TV360, Lagos.
Meanwhile, Senate President Godswill Akpabio has declared his unwavering support for women's rights, promising to remain a fierce advocate for women's rights with a firm promise to push for the passage of 5 crucial gender bills currently under discussion in the Senate. Akpabio gave this assurance in Abuja at the Nigerian Senate's event celebrating the 2025 International Women's Day. The Senate President also acknowledged the crucial role women play in leadership and governance, describing them as better managers and strong decision makers.
Tinkering with the act to enable women, the electoral act, to enable women to have solid say in the parliament will do so. Women are better managers. I can say that women are better managers, but sometimes women can be harder than men. Yes, when they take decisions, they take decisions. But they are very prudent in all aspects of life. If you didn't manage us well, we won't even get here. Condemn all issues of sexual harassment that are not fake. We must tell women not to use tears to look for sentiment when they are making false accusations. We must also let women know that governance is not about vanity. So if a common seat can cause the kind of ulubalo, and then you ask why don't you want to move from the seat, and somebody sits on television and says that is the only place that the camera catches me where, are we doing beauty contests in the Senate? It's a serious place.
This is such an interesting time to be a Nigerian woman. It's also a powerful time. Because for the first time in the history of Nigeria, we have the biggest budget, a 1,000% increase. It's never happened in Nigeria before. It means that we have more resources, and without resources, you can do nothing. All of our policies are outdated. Some are even 23 years old. We don't have the guidelines, we don't have frameworks. So with resources, we can be able to reach more women, and we can be able to even galvanize for more and strengthen, domestic allocation next time. I would like to, on this note, to recognize and appreciate Mr. President, His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his commitment and show of the highest level of political will and prioritization for all issues that concern women, children, families, and the vulnerable.
Still in celebration of women, Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has reassured that his administration will continue to empower women in Lagos State through deliberate actions and policies for them to be seen and heard. Speaking over the weekend, Sanwo-Olu described the International Women's Day as a powerful reminder of the essential role that women play in shaping societies and driving progress. TV360's Ogechukwu Ukekwe has details.
The Mobolaji Arena was packed, filled with colorful dressed women gathered to celebrate the day with the Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. The governor reiterated his administration's commitment to promoting inclusiveness and gender equality as key drivers for the progress and development of Lagos State, in aligning with the team's agenda.
Our policies are dedicated to protecting women from all forms of gender-based violence while creating opportunity for them to assume leadership role in governance. And of course, take position, decision-making position as well. Additionally, we'll facilitate access to credit for them to enable that all our female entrepreneurs, they can grow in a sustainable manner and their businesses can flourish.
In her welcome address, the Lagos State Commissioner for Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation lauded the Sanwo-Olu's administration for its policies and initiatives that foster an inclusive society, empowering women financially and bridging gender gap.
Women are the backbone of families, communities, and economies across the world. Women continue to break barriers, challenge stereotypes, and contribute immensely to national development. Yet, despite these achievements, we still face persistent challenges: gender inequality, economic disparity, gender-based violence, and limited access to quality education, healthcare, and leadership opportunities. Today, I call on all stakeholders, governments, civil society organizations, the private sector, and individuals to work collaboratively in accelerating the actions needed to close the gender gap.
In Lagos State, we have remained steadfast in implementing policies and initiatives that uplift and empower women. Through the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, thousands of women have gained access to economic opportunities, vocational training, and financial support to boost their business.
Speaking further, the guest speaker highlights the significance of positive mental health for women's well-being as a key factor in strengthening society.
Science has said that 1 in 5 women will develop mental illnesses such as anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and bipolar disorders. And what are the causes of this problem? Because women have multiple social roles. They are mothers, they are wives, they are leaders in the offices, they are spiritual leaders, and they have to fulfill so many social roles.
The women were assured continued government support, inclusivity, and gender equality, which remain critical to the state's sustainable development. Ogechukwu Kekwe, TV360, Lagos.
The Executive Secretary of the National Human Rights Commission has urged the Nigerian government and other actors in the industry to challenge stereotypes and promote equality and inclusion where no one is left behind. The Executive Secretary of the NHRC, Tony Ojukwu, made the call in Abuja at a press conference to commemorate the UN Day. Speaking on the theme for 2025, Ojukwu celebrated the progress of women while also highlighting challenges women face globally.
That despite efforts by the Nigerian government and other actors in the industry to promote laws, policies that support inclusion and safeguard of women's rights in the past, there is still a yawning gap between policy and implementation, making Nigeria's journey towards gender equality a May dream, especially with the notable decrease in women's political representation and governance with each election year, thereby shutting women out of positions where major decisions are taken concerning their welfare and well-being. And, there's no discussion about us without us. Is that not what they say? You cannot be discussing about me if I'm not there. You cannot shave my hair in my absence. Women just have to be there. Many issues being discussed about them are being discussed. This is pure human rights, and I just don't understand why it's difficult for people to understand that.
And standing up for the rights of women. He does not only say it, he walked the talk. So we're glad to be partner in progress, and I say, may this be fruitful, productive, and a step higher for women in Nigeria and in the world. Particularly, we will not wait for that 130 years by God's grace.
As we are looking at the theme for 2025, let's put more energy in empowering women, women economic empowerment. No matter how small, that woman there might just need 10,000 naira or 5,000 to start a pure water business, to buy 1 bag, 2 bags, and start off. Please, any of the programs we are doing, let's incorporate empowerment.
And President Tinubu has turned down a 942 billion naira proposal by the National Population Commission for the conduct of the National Housing and Population Census. The discussions between President and the Commission's top officials at the State House reveals that the President insisted on cutting measures. According to reports, Tinubu suggested the deployment of members of the National Youth Service Corps for the exercise. After being briefed by officials of the NPC led by its chairman Nasir Kwara, Tinubu promised to set up a committee to align the census budget to the government's present financial realities. It's time for a break. Still to come on the news, Eto wins appeal to stand as candidate in CAF elections. Stay with us for details.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
Because when you go into public office, you must be ready to answer to the people.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On Digi 360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world. A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
Digi 360, dissecting the issues.
In the last 3 years, we have built a multi-purpose center, which is the envy of all in our constituency. And I can tell you that the people who are living there are already enjoying it.
Guy, do you think what this man just said is true? See, I seriously doubt. I'm sure it's one of those their silly lies.
Wait, do you know there's a way to find out if these things he's saying is true or not? This is the Construct app. It gives people like us a sure way to track implementation of constituency projects. It gives valid and verified information on location of projects, amounts allocated, amount funded, the level of job done, and even the profiles of concerned legislators. You and I can post directly on this app.
Are you serious?
This is the Go-To app if you want to know how our Commonwealth is being expanded by the government.
Wow. Let's even see if what this man said is true. Show me.
The Construct app is developed by Other Paper Nigeria with support from USAID and is available on both Google Play Store and Apple Store.
And it's true.
Of course, I told you.
Welcome back. Here's a recap of our top stories. A tragic tanker explosion in Mashegu local government area of Niger State has claimed the lives of 7 people, leaving 1 person injured. We also informed you that the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, has finally reassigned the case of Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, to another judge. In case you missed any of our news bulletins or for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV and AVO TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria, or download our mobile app on Google Play Store, Huawei App Gallery and Apple Store. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. On business, the House of Representatives has resolved to establish a special committee to investigate the use of take-off grants, bailout funds, and other interventions allocated to MDAs, government institutions, and GOEs from 2015 to present. This decision follows a motion by Minority Leader Kingsley Chinda, who highlighted concerns over ongoing mismanagement of funds that negatively impact public services.
The House is also concerned that the misuse of take-off grants, bailout funds, and other interventions has severely compromised national developmental goals, hindering progress towards critical social and economic objectives. The House is aware that the misappropriation of these funds has led to a demonstrable deterioration in the quality of public service delivery, and compromise the security of the nation, thereby undermining public trust in government effectiveness. The House is also aware that the lack of stringent oversight and monitoring mechanism may contribute to the inefficiency in the deployment of these resources, resulting in wasted funds that could otherwise be utilized to improve the good intended government policies and as well as safe and secure lives of citizens. The House is therefore called upon to resolve to constitute a special committee to conduct an immediate investigation into the utilization of takeoff grants, bailout funds, and interventions allocated to MDAs, government institutions, and GOs from 2015 to date. Assess compliance with existing regulations and guidelines regarding the management and reporting of these funds, including any instance of diversion or misappropriation.
Still on business, the Nigeria Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has granted refining licenses to 3 companies for the construction of new refineries in Abia, Delta, and Edo states. According to a post from the NMDPRA, the companies awarded licenses include Egudu Refinery Limited in Edo State, MB Refinery and Petrochemicals Company Limited in Delta State, and HIS Refining and Petrochemical Company Limited in Abia State. Once completed, the 3 refineries will have a combined refining capacity of 140,000 barrels per day. And Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, has announced the organization's commitment to the Gender Equality Clarion Call, which is to champion and defend women's rights in every decision and every forum in the world. The UN Secretary General, who disclosed this during his message to commemorate the 2025 International Women's Day, said the world must actively confront backlash, prevent rollbacks, and create spaces where women's rights can thrive. He also emphasized the need to dismantle systemic inequalities in working across sectors and all levels.
We recognize 30 years of progress and achievement since the landmark United Nations Conference in Beijing. This transformed the rights of women and reaffirmed those rights as human rights. Since then, women and girls have shattered barriers, defied stereotypes, and demanded their rightful place. But we must be clear-eyed about the challenge. From pushback to rollback, women's human rights are under attack. Age-old horrors, violence, discrimination, and economic inequality still plague societies. And newest threats, such as biased algorithms and programming inequalities into online spaces, opening up new arenas of harassment and abuse. Instead of mainstreaming equal rights, we are seeing the mainstreaming of misogyny. We must fight these outrages and keep working to level the playing field for women and girls. We need action to unlock finance so countries can invest in equality and to prioritize those investments. Action to open up equal opportunities for decent work, close the gender pay gap, and tackle challenges around care work. Action to strengthen and implement laws to end all forms of violence against women and girls. Action to secure women's full participation in decision-making, including in peace building. And action to remove the obstacles to women and girls in the fields of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. The United Nations Pact for the Future and the Global Digital Compact offer blueprints to guide these actions. When women and girls can rise, we all thrive. Together, let's stand firm in making rights, equality, and empowerment a reality for all women and girls, for everyone, everywhere.
U.S. President Donald Trump's administration has announced it is cutting $400 million in federal grants to Columbia University, accusing the institution of not protecting Jewish students from harassment during protests against Israel's offensive in Gaza. Trump's statement, issued by the U.S. General Services Administration, says the cuts were the first round of action and that additional cancellations to the around $5 billion of federal grant commitment to Colombia are expected to follow. Manta Lawal, the elder brother of Abubakar Lawal, the Nigerian footballer who tragically passed away in Uganda last month, has called on the Nigerian and Ugandan governments to investigate his brother's death in pursuit of justice. Lawal's death was confirmed by his football club and the Ugandan police on Monday, February 24. Initially, reports indicated that he died in a motorcycle accident, but later the police stated that he allegedly fell from a shopping mall balcony in Kampala, Uganda, while visiting a Tanzanian friend. The 29-year-old was laid to rest in his home state of Sokoto on Tuesday, with his club Vipers SC and their fans paying tribute to him on Sunday. Still on sport, four-time African Footballer of the Year Samuel Eto'o has been granted the right to be included in the list of candidates for the Confederation of African Football CAF's Executive Committee elections next week, following a successful appeal. The Court of Arbitration for Sports upheld Eto'o's appeal after he was initially excluded by CAF's Governance Committee in January. Eto'o, who serves as the president of the Cameroon Football Federation, will now be eligible to contest in the elections scheduled for next Wednesday in Cairo, Egypt. And that's it on News Now. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.